Loud little ducky coming through, speaking truth, unabashed, calling out the liars, debunking falsehoods with a blast. I ain't afraid to say what's real, won't ever hold back. Gonna shake the system up, turn it all off track. I see through the smoke, the mirrors in the disguise, expose their hidden agenda. No more room for their lies. The truth is my weapon, I won't let it be concealed. I'm the voice for the voiceless, no longer gonna yield. In a world full of deception, I'm here to set it straight, bringing justice to the forefront. Won't accept their twisted fate. They may try to silence me, but my voice will still prevail. I'm sparking revolution, it's the truth-telling tale.
Okay, hello everybody. Sorry about that. Um, I was looking to see because I have the goal option thing, which was interesting, but the screen I had it on wasn't letting me like expand and see everything. Let me know if the audio is good. If it's cutting out the last live stream, it seemed to be cutting in and out, so I hope that doesn't happen. So we are going to cover some, we're going to cover two articles. Um, And I want to get y'all's thoughts on it too. I want to preface by saying I don't care how big somebody is, but don't the way that these two people are going about things, I don't necessarily, I don't know if it's one's possibly just out of grief, another is possibly out of attention. I don't know. But your takes. Like I said, I don't care how big somebody is, but, um, so first one has been online a lot today. Um, so we're gonna go over this article. I wonder if I can, well, okay. So let's bring this first article up. Mm, okay. So when did this was published yesterday. And it says Lyft sued after a 489 passenger told she can't fit in the car. So we're going to read this article, and then there's a video that has her attorney speaking, and she speaks as well. This is on News Weekly. It says Detroit rapper and influencer Deja Blanding, known by her stage name Dank DeMoss, is suing Lyft after a driver refused to give her a ride, citing her weight. Attorneys for Blanding, who weighs 489 pounds, filed the lawsuit claiming the incident, which occurred earlier this month, which violated Michigan's anti-discrimination law, which include weight as a protected characteristic. Um, Michigan is the only state that has weight as a protected class. Um, so this is why it matters in the states. Michigan is the only state where weight is legally protected under anti-discrimination laws. It is not protected in any other state as of right now. The incident is part of a wider conversation about how much responsibility companies should bear when it comes to accommodating plus-size customers. Well, Lyft is a company that contracts drivers out. And so is Lyft or Uber have to now make sure that every single vehicle is meant for every single weight out there. That no matter who the driver is, you have to have a vehicle big enough to do this, or you cannot be a Lyft or an Uber driver in Michigan or in other states. Are they just going to update their protocol? What to know? The incident went viral after Blanding updated or uploaded it to TikTok on January 19th, captioned, "This Lyft driver denied me service because of my size." It had garnered 342,600 views by Tuesday, January 28th. So almost 10 days later. And we'll get to see this clip. But it says, "I'm humiliated and embarrassed. Hashtag wrong, hashtag discrimination. Uh, Real Demoss 2, and tagged Lyft in it. And she has one of her songs, I guess, playing in the background. In the video, the Lyft driver told her, "I got no space. My car is small." Blanding insisted she fit before he responded, "You can." The driver says. The driver, who identified himself in the video as Abraham, cited concern about his car's tires and a past experience with a passenger who couldn't fit in his vehicle as reasons for denying Blanding's service. He suggested she order an Uber XL and assured her she would be refunded. So the driver is like, "Look, I will refund you your money because I can't give you a ride, so you're not using my service, so you're gonna get your money back since you're not gonna be able to use it, at least with me." Now she could try to get another person to come and pick her up, but I don't know what would have happened there. Blanding wrote in the video description that she was humiliated and embarrassed. Her attorney, Jonathan Marco, told Fox 2 Detroit that Michigan law treats weight discrimination the same as racial and religious discrimination. So it's just the same as saying, "No, you can't get in my car because you're too big," is the same as saying, "You're Christian. I'm not. I'm not letting a Christian in my car," or "You're white. I'm not letting white people in my car." Um, those are all three apparently on the same line in Michigan. They're all the same. And I'm guessing age discrimination too. Like, they don't mention that, but like anybody that's 65 and older, I'm not letting in my car because they might have a depends on or something. Like, Says Lyft in a statement to Newsweek reiterated that its terms of service explicitly prohibited discrimination of any kind. Despite being refunded, Blanding told her followers the incident left her emotionally drained. She has since taken a break from social media, citing the need to recover from the experience. I don't know if it's the Lyft experience that she is emotionally drained from, or just the fact that she put her experience on social media for people to comment on, and that has emotionally drained her. And that's why she's taking a break from social media because it didn't go the way she wanted it to go. What people are saying. Jonathan Marco, attorney for Blanding, to Fox 2 Detroit. I knew that it was illegal and I knew that it was wrong. Dank DeMoss on Instagram. Thank you to my lawyers, Marco and Zach Runyon, fighting for my community, my people, and making change to the world, not just for me, but for everyone. Lyft, in a statement to Newsweek, Lyft unequivocally condemns all forms of discrimination. We believe in a community where everyone is treated with equal respect and mutual kindness. Our community guidelines and terms of service explicitly prohibit harassment or discrimination. Well, now you're going to have to pay up because somebody discriminated against her. What happens next? Lyft has been served with the lawsuit, and legal proceedings are expected to move forward in the coming months. And no, this isn't the one that cites the legal document, but we can go over that document another day. Now, here is the video that I wanted to share. Oh, yeah, I have my Law Rack shirt on from Jeff today, too. Pair of and my no makeup. Okay. So now we are going to stop screen. Screen. All right. Share. No, let's do that. Okay. So we're going to watch this video. The article is probably basically the same. Let's see here. Detroit woman sues Lyft alleging she was denied service due to weight. Woman captured. This is the woman. Deja Blanding from Detroit said she was denied a ride from Lyft due to her weight, which caused her to file a lawsuit. She was denied a ride. Incident media. According to the video, Blanding paid Lyft for a ride from her residence to a party at her cousin's house. About 10 to 15 minutes later, a Lyft driver arrived. It was a Mercedes-Benz sedan. There was one about a Toyota Corolla, too, and a different one. Hello. She asked the driver what he was doing. The driver told her she was too big. Discrimination of any kind should never be tolerated in our society. Lyft driver also said a problem in the past and that overweight people need to wear Lyft's XLs. I didn't even know. I did not even know that you had the option to order an XL or an XXL or something in rides. Um, so the person The person was not, it's not like she couldn't have got one. She did not order another one. Kind of like sometimes people, depending on their size, has to buy an extra plane seat. People don't like that, and there are plenty of people that speak out about that. But this is like Lyft's and Uber's way of dealing with somebody who needs an extra, ride. They are willing to give rides to these people. Like, they don't discriminate. You just have to pick the option so that you can go into those vehicles. They have them available for you. You just have to choose them. Said that she could, despite assuring the Lyft driver she could fit in the back seat, his doors locked and set off. Wait is not only illegal but dangerous, said attorney Zach Runyon. Imagine the consequences if Miss Blanding were unable to seek shelter after the driver left her stranded. This could have ended even worse than it did. She's an adult, and I don't think it's illegal to leave somebody stranded on the side of the road if they're an adult. Being a child on the side of the road. Her having shelter after this is not the Lyft driver's responsibility. I don't agree with that statement. Lyft said they cannot comment on pending litigation, but released a statement condemning discrimination. Well, that statement might bite them in the ass. And then this is the lawsuit. Which, if we, all right, so let's watch the video. And then, yeah, let's just watch the video. All right.
A Detroit woman turned down from a Lyft driver because she says due to her weight. She's now suing the company, accusing it of discrimination.
Jacqueline Francis sat down with her and her lawyer today to get the full story. Jacqueline.
Can you hear that?
Deja tells us her Lyft pulled up. She went to get in, but the doors were locked. And the reason why has her suing the rideshare company.
So are you really telling me I'm too big to get in your car?
Deja Blandings recorded it all. Her Lyft driver pulling up only to turn her down.
I was too big, and his tires, something about his tires. I asked him, what do I have to do with your tires?
This happened January 18th. The 29-year-old Detroiter was headed to a Lions watch party, only she never got there.
So you telling me I can't
It's just a tiny car.
get in the Lyft because I can't fit in your car?
Thin sedan.
What makes you think I can't fit in the car?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
The driver told her she needed to request an XL car.
I was embarrassed, and I felt some type of way about it,
She's hired a lawyer and is suing Lyft.
Well, from a legal standpoint, it seems like obvious discrimination. The Elliott-Larsen Act, which is Michigan's Civil Rights Act, specifically protects people from weight discrimination. And the driver here turned down her ride because of her weight.
Deja says this experience has scarred her.
I haven't really left my house since that.
She hopes this lawsuit will change how people treat others of all sizes.
Didn't have to pay for extra for a Uber XL.
While Lyft does not comment on pending litigation, they did send us this statement reading, quote, Lyft unequivocally condemns all forms of discrimination. We believe in a community where everyone is treated equal with respect and mutual kindness. Our community guidelines in terms of service explicitly prohibit harassment or discrimination. Reporting live in Detroit, Jacqueline Francis, Local 4.
Jacqueline, thanks.
And now,
Okay. So that is video of the woman. She says she's never had this problem before. Anytime she has tried to order a lift, well, that's what I was gonna look. I was gonna send you this as well. And I think she should be able to use Lyft. I do. And if she has to order a bigger car, she has to order a bigger car. The same thing could be said about a tall person that their legs might fit in a small vehicle. I don't know if it's necessarily discrimination. He just doesn't have a vehicle that's equipped with that. And she recorded the interaction, so we got to see his tone and how everything was said in that video. Just wait for a second. Let me copy link. Okay, I'm going to share her pictures that are off of her social media. That is, well, a guy shared, but it's pictures off of social media. I don't know if that was showing or not. Okay. Okay. So these are some pictures that are her driving a vehicle. Said she should be able to drive a vehicle, she should be able to get a ride. But she was complaining about a Toyota Corolla, a Mercedes Benz. I've heard both. This Toyota Corolla. This is a big vehicle. So I don't know if this would be like a Lyft XL or an Uber XL or whatever, but this is a bigger vehicle. And her belly is in, like, the steering wheel is going into her stomach. This is a problem, not just for big people, but this is a problem for pregnant ladies. If you get to a point where you like, especially like a short pregnant lady, where your legs are too short and you have to be like really to closer to the steering wheel than most, then you can't drive because the steering wheel gets in the way of the belly, and it's a safety hazard. Like, you can't do that. So that is the first case. Okay. I don't know if this is Lyft's problem or if it's the driver's problem. I don't know that they need to be sued over this. And it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of this and if there are new protocols. Because this is not the first time this has happened, probably, and it's not going to be the last time it's happened. All right. Now I want to go to this one. So that one, I don't know if she's doing it for attention or what. I don't think there should be a lawsuit. That is my opinion. They have options for you. Flip doesn't discriminate. And that's how it is. If you disagree and I am being discriminative or I'm being, I don't even know the word. I'm not trying to be offensive, but it's almost 500 pounds. I mean, I even as a massage therapist, my tables only hold a certain amount of weight. And I've had people that have come in and I've had to switch to a different table because it holds more weight because it has to hold their weight plus mine because I'm pushing all my body weight into them, to the table to massage. And so it has to be able to hold both our weights. And then, so I've had to move to one that can withhold more weight. And then there's also been a time where I didn't have that option and I had to put the table so they weren't laying completely on the floor. I had to put my table, fold the legs in, and just lay the table flat. And that way I could still massage them, but I could not have the table up. Otherwise, it would be hazardous and unsafe and it could collapse. But these are people that are like 500, 600 pounds coming in to get a massage. I've massaged big people, and I have regular clients of all different sizes, but I have to make sure that they are safe when it comes to getting a massage. All right. The next one, and then we will go to deathbed confessions because I somehow read these. And I, some of these were funny, some of these were not. They were interesting. All right, so this next one, and this will be the last time other than maybe covering that TikTok rapper lawsuit from Detroit, I might cover that, but this is the only time I'm going to cover this. And it's just this particular thing brought up this case that really irked me this summer. And so go on about this one. Lauren Knighty has been covering lots of different issues. I sent stuff to her as well, so if she wanted to weigh in on it, she could. Because I don't want to take her. I don't want to take anything she's talking about. This was just something. These are articles and true stories, and y'all can base them on. You can come to your own conclusions about what you think, and do you think they're in the right for suing people? Because we cover a lot of lawsuit stuff here. All right, let me share the screen again. All right. We're going to take the audio off for now. Okay. This one is from June 4th, 2024. And And this is out of Wisconsin. So Fox says an 850-pound, I cannot even pronounce that, Kadai. I'm butchering this. Woman dies. Funeral arrangements challenging. So this was updated back in 2024. We'll watch the video in a minute. It says one woman suffered from obesity, and because of the weight, getting her the proper funeral arrangements was nearly impossible. Couday is Wisconsin. Okay, okay, that's a town, so I'm okay with somewhat making up a town name. I didn't know if it was nationality or something like that. Okay, dignity and death. A mother is sharing her story after her daughter died. She suffered from morbid obesity, and because of her weight, getting her the proper funeral arrangements was nearly impossible. Carolyn Alvarez's daughter, Cassandra Ortiz, passed away a week ago, which is horrible. Like, moms are not supposed to bury their kids, right? He said, beautiful, she said, beautiful soul, contagious laugh. And this was her. She looks like fun. Like, she got a great smile. Like, she looks amazing. But remembering the light she brought to this home was clouded by what happened there after she died. I do not wish what we are going through. I don't wish that on anybody, she said. There's not a funeral home that would take her. The Milwaukee County Medical Examiner said that Ortiz weighed 850 pounds. Alvarillo said it took around 12 hours to get her daughter out of the home. So she passed away. And even like the emergency, like ambulance and police and all them, firefighters, it took them 12 hours to even get her out. Like trying to clear a scene or anything like that. It was just trying to figure out how to get her out of the house because she was deceased, which is horrible. I mean, I feel for her. I feel for the mom because you don't want to sit like you don't want to sit in your home with your daughter deceased in the next room. Like I don't wish that on anybody. She said because of her weight, no one had the capacity to handle the case. To walk in that room and just keep seeing her there. And it's like, oh my God, when are you going to get my baby out of here? Alvarillo said. They need to get her out of here. The owner of the church and chapel funeral service, Ted Larson, wanted to help. The fire and police departments and Larson's team eventually moved Ortiz, which good. 12 hours isn't great, but it took them 12 hours. Um, so I guess this is who did it, who helped, which was great, very kind of them to want to do. There were at times 20 to 30 people in the house trying to help this family address the situation, he said. He said there isn't a crematory in Milwaukee metro area large enough, and Ortiz had to be transferred to Illinois. But because the fire department was called to a fire, Ortiz remained in the van for safety reasons. I did not know about that. So once they got her out, she had to stay in the whatever van. Myself and colleagues were not capable of taking her from the van to put her on to any table to accommodate her and this and that, Clarkson said. So that was the funeral director that said that. See? Beautiful. Like, looks beautiful. She does have an amazing hair, like, amazing smile. I love her hair. I wish I could style my hair that way. So, urges other families to pre-plan arrangements. Which, yes, but she's young. They don't even give her age, but she is very young. Like, why would you be pre-planning arrangements for her? Like, that's not something, unless they knew that this was coming, and then maybe, but if you didn't know that this was coming, and it just happened, you can't really do a lot of pre-planning. But to people that can pre-plan, definitely do. With her having sat so long in the bed and having sat so long in the van, even if we wanted to, we couldn't do a funeral, she said. She wants the state of Wisconsin to have a protocol for situations like her daughter's so no family has to deal with the challenge during an already difficult time. Something's got to be put in place, Alvario said. Um, there was another. There was another article about this. Let's remove from stage for now. Okay. There was another about that is like the same thing. Let's see here. There was yeah, it took around 2 dozen people. People were not equipped to, and her mom was saying that they couldn't accommodate her and take and like put her in the van and stuff like that. Okay, and this says, in addition to asking her state to enact policies for obese people in death, Alvario urged companies who are caring for loved ones with weight issues to make arrangements beforehand. Yes. U.S. Funeral Online reported that a funeral director are having to make changes in the way they do business to accommodate corpses. The cost of arranging a funeral for an obese person can far exceed the cost of an average funeral. Oversized caskets, which are up to 52 inches wide, can be obtained for corpses up to 1,000 pounds, but they have to be custom made and come with a hefty price tag starting around $2,500. Larger grave plots and vault liners are also sometimes available for additional fees, as are super-sized cremation containers and equipment. As for moving the corpses, today many funeral homes have begun become to employ more sophisticated lifting winch trolley equipment to assist the movement of the corpse and caskets. The site reported many hearse manufacturers now have to consider offering a hearse in their range that's wider with a larger rear door and a reinforced chassis. If that's not available, sometimes alternative transportation like horse and carriage can be used to handle the job. Seriously, a horse and carriage? I mean, you could make that really pretty. But part of their problem and the reason that they couldn't get her out of the home is all these people could not like lift her to get her out because like she can't help and nothing like that. And so kind of like what they use in hospital beds when somebody is big or they're unable to move. You can be not big too. But if they can't, like nurses and nursing assistants and stuff can't like lift you or roll you. So nursing home hospitals, they have a like thing that a sling thing that they can put you in to roll you and move you. Um, so they can change your sheets, um, you know, make sure that you don't get bed sores, things like that. So they're going to need these harnesses to do this. And you have to, not only in this situation, you have to be able to lift them and get them out. And she was talking about she wanted to have her cremated. The problem was that the table to go into like the furnace that does the cremation was not big enough. And that's why they had to send her to Illinois, is because they hadn't. So if you are a bigger person and or you know a bigger person, maybe find out if the fire department or a funeral home or something near you that you might use or that respond to where that person is, or just somebody in your city has the equipment in case it is needed so you don't have to go through with this lady. I do think it's a good idea for to at least speak out so that places can, because I don't know how big of a town this is. Um, Guessing it's like a suburb of. Like, how big is it? Um, Population is less than 20,000, a little over 18,000. Um, outside of Milwaukee. So Milwaukee might have these, maybe not. And so the people are possibly going to have to drive to get one, uh, have one in something. If they don't have the equipment to get her out of there. And so I urge everybody, make sure that your fire departments and funeral homes and stuff like that have equipment if that is the one thing that I think came out of this. And it's something that maybe we don't think about, but it's also not every day that you come up on a scene of an 800 person. I don't know if they would have needed if she was 500. They might have the equipment for that, but not 800 or 1,000. So that's where I think this mom is right. And saying, she's speaking, she doesn't want this to happen. But I hope, this is what I think maybe in her grief, she is not blaming the 20 to 30 people that came there on scene to help her, or the funeral directors that run their business that wanted to help and figure out a solution so that they can help this family and this mom wouldn't have to sit in the home with her daughter deceased in the next room. Because that is unimaginable. And I don't know if she like she can be angry. That's part of the stages of grief. And you want that you won't blame something. It stinks that they were not prepared to deal with this. They should. Um, but bring all places to make sure that they have this equipment available for anybody that is struggling to go that is this, because this may happen, and it might take more than 12 hours to get somebody that has the equipment. I mean, just for crematory process, she had to go to another state, and then they would have to get her back. So I don't know if they had to pay, like the family had to pay for that, if like there was a fundraiser or what there was, but that is unexpected cost that nobody would expect to deal with when a loved one dies. So hers is a little bit different. Um, When there's not protocols and things in place. The other one, there's options in place in the lift case. The person just chose not to. All right. Now we are going to stop screen. Okay. So we are going to move to deathbed conversations. And it is sad when when people um, have to go out like this. I understand things to a medical point, but I also understand that there's a point when it's not medically to. If you're getting that way because you've been laid up in a hospital or a nursing home and you don't have things like that, that's more understandable. But just active everyday living and things like that, I don't know. To a degree, things can be medical, but there are a lot of things out there that can help people nowadays if they don't want to do it the, the workout, eat right method, which that doesn't work for everybody. Um, I'm not necessarily a person that is big. My highest weight was 200 pounds, and I started losing weight when I hit that. Um, but a lot, and then I just saw myself one day and was like, nope, no more. Like I can't even look at myself, and I'm still not working. Okay, so let's move on to some deathbed confessions. And we can start with the old ones. I wish I had like a swoopy swoop. Let's see here. Let's just put this in so that I
I'm pregnant
know
at that time, and she lied.
when I. Okay, we are going to cover deathbed confessions, starting with two crime-related ones. Okay, make sure there's no audio coming from these because you never know what ads are playing. All right. So this is from New York Daily News. Oops, a Tennessee man makes a deathbed murder confession and recovers. That's no. If you're going to make a deathbed confession, you need to make sure that you're going to be dead because it's not. Says James Washington made a deathbed confession after he suffered a heart attack. He did not expect to survive. And this was from updated last on January 10th, 2019. A Tennessee convict confessed to a 17-year-old murder on his deathbed before making a miraculous recovery and will now spend the rest of his life in prison for the crime. James Washington thought that he was dying from a heart attack while in prison in 2009. So he was already in prison. So he wasn't in prison for this, I'm guessing. It was for something else, maybe. Maybe it was from this, and he's just said he didn't do it. He said in a last-ditch effort to clear his conscience, he told a guard that he murdered a woman named Joyce Goodner in Nashville in 1995. He kind of got as best as he could motioned and said, I have something to tell you. I have to get something off my conscience. You need to hear this. The guard, James Thompson, told the station, he said, I killed somebody. I beat her to death. Goodner's body had been found in an empty house, stabbed in the neck, set on fire, and bludgeoned to death with a cinder block. That is pure evil. I am glad he was in prison. And you know what? I'm glad that you almost died, you were brought back to life, and then I don't know if you've died again, but we'll see. Washington had been a person of interest, but investigators were never able to pin the murder on him, and the case had gone cold. It was a cold case. He was not in jail or prison for this case. He was in prison for another case, which obviously he's a horrible, despicable, evil man. I don't have any trust in the system. All of a sudden, I got this phone call, and they said, we think we found Goodner's daughter, Sonia Kimbrough said. Washington, who was in jail for a separate crime, tried to take back the deathbed confession in court, but was convicted of murder last month. So he went on trial for this confession and he was found guilty. Yeah. He'll serve at least 51 years in prison, the station reported. He kind of got as best as he could motioned and said, I have something to tell. Why is that? Did I get no. Killed somebody. Interest. Separate. He'll serve it. Okay, I don't know why that's been repeated twice. Let's see what this link is. That link doesn't work anymore. So, yeah, make sure you're gonna die if you're gonna make a deathbed confession. All right. Then we have this one, which was interesting. This is from NBC News, November 18th, 2004. Deathbed confession leads to body in freezer. A deathbed murder confession from a Massachusetts woman led to the discovery of her husband's remains Thursday inside a freezer at the storage facility, where his body had been for at least 6 years, authorities said. A deathbed murder confession from a Massachusetts woman led to the discovery. Okay. Um, inside a freezer. Moments before she died, the woman told one of her children that she killed her husband in California several years ago. Middlesex District Attorney Martha Copley said the children informed the police. So I'm guessing this was a man before their time. I'm guessing it's not. Well, it was her husband's remains. Okay. I don't know if they were the kid's dad. The woman apparently put the body in the freezer and shipped it from California to Massachusetts several years ago, Quigley said. It's very bizarre, Quigley said Thursday. I would say, I feel bad for the shipper who had to ship the body. And they probably did not know. Like, did you put insurance on it? Did you put fragile on this when you shipped it? Like, you have a right to privacy, which great, because I don't necessarily always want people, you don't want people always looking at what you're shipping to somebody else, but they looked. They looked at this. What if it would have broken open or something? Oh, that's creepy. The slaying may have taken place up to 14 years ago because that was when the woman apparently began telling her children that their father had been killed in a car accident. So this was the kid's dad, but they just thought their dad died in a car accident, not that they're like, okay, you lost your dad because of your mother, and then now you're losing your mother, who you've probably looked up to and been close with, and all that. She's a single mom, raising the kids after their father had died in a car accident. But you find out, no, your mother did. Hey, mom that you've loved and has been here all your life, I'm dying, and also I'm the one who took your dad away. Like, that's so messed up to do to the kids. I mean, you should don't kill people, but that's just so messed up. Police went to the Planet Self Storage Facility in Somerville on Thursday and found the remains inside a freezer that was locked and sealed with duct tape. The district attorney said there was an odor coming from the freezer, she said. I would say a 14-year-old body probably is going to stink. An autopsy will be performed to determine the cause and approximate time of death. No names have been released. She was in her 50s and died in the past few weeks. So, what is that deathbed confession? Like, that mom is wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong on so many levels. Okay, so those are all of our news stories and articles. Now we're just going to go to something just online. So this first one, my wife is a CNA in a nursing home. She had a resident who was formerly delivery OB nurse in the 70s and 80s. When she was on her last few breaths, my wife was leaning into her face to clean it, and she whispered in my wife's ear, When I was a nurse, I switched babies around. I'm not sure what's worse, knowing that one child may not be your child, or that this woman could have done it many times. Like, I wonder if any of the patients from where she was a nurse, like, if they ever got told about this, and then a bunch of them had to just go do maternity tests, like, because you don't know if they're your babies. And I've heard you've heard horror stories about babies being switched at birth. Um, that's awful, awful, awful. Glad she told somebody, but I don't know. I mean, if it was in the 70s and 80s, depending on when this was, those people are possibly, when this came out, were possibly adults, and they had already been raised by someone that wasn't their biological mom. It's insane. Okay, the next one says there was this couple where the wife got some mental illness where she couldn't go outside the house. This went on for years. Eventually, after counseling, she made a little progress and agreed to go to the drugstore. She went in while her husband stayed in the car. While she was in the drugstore, someone walked in and shot her in the back of the head and walked out. She died immediately, and the shooter was never caught. For years, everyone thought it was some insane paranormal thing, like she somehow knew being out in public would lead to her death, etc. Many decades later, the husband admitted on his deathbed that he had hired someone to kill her. He could not take her mental illness anymore. So I guess he knew he couldn't kill her in the house because she never leaves the house, and so he would definitely be looked at. But here, he just drove off. I don't guess they didn't have any camera footage or anything of it, but like that is so messed up. So messed up. And we wonder why some people have a fear of going out into public. Because people really do have that fear. Okay, the next one. My great great uncle admitted on his deathbed that he wasn't actually related to our family. He had spent the last 40 years in the US using one of our distant relatives' citizenship papers since they were close enough. And in the 1920s, that was really all he needed. He didn't kill the uncle or anything. The guy had just decided America wasn't for him and went home. This dude was like, "Hey, since you aren't wanting to go back, can I have your papers?" And that was that. Not haunting at all, but my family doesn't have very good questions, so it's still technically the most haunting. Somebody asked, "What is the like craziest one you've experienced or heard?" Doesn't have any deathbed confessions. I don't even think that I have any deathbed confessions. If you have a deathbed confession, not yourself, obviously, but if you know of one or have one in your family and you want to share, put it in the comments. Because some of them, like, some of them are very serious and not great. Some of them actually be kind of charming and funny. It just shows you who their character is. This next one says, so this may or may not be wild to anyone else. For me, it was. And it's also my grandfather on my mom's side named my first and middle. Well, no problem whatsoever. However, my mom's mom didn't really like it as I grew up and never knew why that was, so I didn't like her either. Well, I found out my grandfather was on his deathbed, revealed where he had gotten my name from. My grandfather was named. Okay, so the grandfather named the child. So he's telling where he got the name from. My name isn't exactly, or is it a rare name either? He turned to my 14-year-old self. So this kid was 14. I am so happy I named you after the love of my life. I hope I see her in heaven. And the poster says, yeah, LOL. My grandfather named me after an ex love, whom he was still in love with and admitted he didn't stand his wife. So maybe couldn't stand his wife. Uh, no wonder the grandmother was pissed off because she probably knows exactly who this ex is. And okay, grandma, you can be upset with that. You could have divorced grandfather for that, but don't hate the grandchild for it. Like they had no control. And if she had a problem with it, like why didn't she tell the mom, hey, you do know where he got this name from, right? Because there'd be no reason for her to be mad if she didn't know where it came from. So I think grandma knew where it came from. And the grandmother should have said something instead of taking the hatred out on like the daughter and the grandchild. That one's not okay. And grandma and grandpa could have got a divorce because oh hell no. That is not funny. Maybe funny to like suggest it, but not for it to like stay intact. But I mean, they could have hated it in the moment. Like, no, we're not doing that. Apparently, they liked it. Okay, this one is kind of funny, kind of gross. My great grandmother asked my mother to go clean her nightstand before the rest of the family went through the house after she died. My mom thought it was hilarious and awesome. And this granddaughter says she died a little. And then this person commented and said, we were asked to throw out my father in law's Playboy and Hustler magazines before his daughter saw them. Like, it's kind of funny. Like, they're still thinking about that stuff when they're dying. Oh my God, they're gonna find my toys. You're gonna be dead. You can't be embarrassed by it. Like, they might be grossed out or they might laugh. It might make them chuckle. This probably makes them chuckle, and they were probably thankful uh, they were told before just coming on this stuff. You know, like, you naughty, naughty little dirty, dirty. No, that's their own prerogative. They can have whatever they want in their nightstand. They're grown adults, but that's just funny. But you can tell what kind of people that this father-in-law and this great grandmother were just based on these things. And this says it was a few months before she died. My grandmother told me she peed on her mother. It was great. Said served it. She was a little nutty, and I had deep stream of her madness flowing through my veins. So this person is saying that she is a little bit like her grandmother, just a little bit nutty, and you know, she was probably cuckoo, but she was probably fun for some at Thanksgiving and the holidays, and then others were probably like, "Oh my gosh, why does she always do this? Like she's always doing something, causing drama. Like, mom, watch your mouth." Um, last one? Nope. Okay. This one was I have a great aunt that passed away when I was 17. Just before she did, my older brother convinced her I was gay. She called me in and explained how our family has been through so much and that she was willing to totally accept me for who I am. I think that is great of her to be that open-minded. Only one problem. I'm not gay. She never believed it me because my brother had confessed it. So his brother seems fun. And now it's probably something that they all laugh about now. He might be married to a woman now. And she's probably been told this story, which is really funny because like if it was right before, it's not like he had all this time to like prove to her that he wasn't gay and that his brother was lying about it. So great aunt went to heaven thinking one of her nephews was nephew or nieces, I don't know, was gay and they were straight. And that is lighthearted and funny. Like I can totally see an older brother doing that to a younger brother because they think it's funny. And to get one last joke or and a story that will last a lifetime with their great aunt. Um, so I thought I saved it. Um, where did I save it? There's some gross ones and some really, really, really horrid ones about um, disgusting things to children. I ain't putting any of that stuff up there. There is, of course, the typical this person is not father or that person's brother. Yeah, I have a second family out there. I have siblings that are out in the world because, I choose all the time. There's this one that said, uh, my great grandmother was dying. She told my mom that she had been using a fake name since she was 13. No big exciting reason for it. She just thought that her original name was ugly and old fashioned. So when she left home to work in another town, she decided to reinvent herself with a trendier, more stylish name. Like that's a lighthearted one. Those are fun. Where Where is the one? Some cruel ones about not wanting to have kids, telling their kids that. That's about a crime family. Where is this other one? I thought I saved it to my thing and I didn't. I don't know. I don't know where that particular story is. If I find it, we might have to do another one because there's a bunch out there. But those are some, but just something I had come across. And I was like, "Whoa, these are interesting. Some are funny and lighthearted. Some solve murders, which is great. Um, others are just downright wrong and is basically being toxic as a family." So we have it, guys. We talked about two stories about people who are severely overweight, and one is suing Lyft and probably the Lyft driver, but she can get more money out of Lyft than she probably could the independent driver. So you want to add that corporation to the lawsuit. We will go over that lawsuit because I want to know if there's going to be changes. And that if you did not know that you could order an Uber or a Lyft in a bigger size to accommodate you, you can. Because I did not know that because I don't use Uber and Lyft. Um, I've used it a couple of times, but that was a long time ago. Um, I would use it again probably, but um, I don't know. I don't think I'd do it by myself. I'd have to have somebody with me because I'm a big, watch too much true crime. But and then the other one was a lady whose daughter was overweight, and the town did not have the equipment to move this body out of the house and then get her to a place where she could either be stored until she could be cremated or to even get her cremated because none of the equipment could handle that size. And so prepare. These are new things that we can help people with if you know somebody that has these issues. But that is going to be it for me. I'm hoping it'll probably be the beginning of next week when I have another Karen Reed video out. Waiting for Jingerson's reply. I know he put in like a thing today about wanting extensions and more pages. He can't defend this and all of that nonsense, but uh, when other things, we will cover those as well. But yeah, if you have deathbed confessions or you find any, you can send them to me on Twitter or email. That is usually in the description box down below. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.